Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Art Study of You. I am your host, Cameron Gilmore, and those of you that missed last week's episode with Melvin Estorga, to say you missed an absolute, well, here's a little teaser.
Abundance in life, like a life of full abundance, like where everything you have is in abundance, overflowing. I mean, come on, let's talk about that. If you can have a life that overflows in abundance in love, in relationships, in friendships, and in business, and in every aspect, didn't you make it? Isn't that wealth? Isn't that what everybody wants?
Told you. I told you. Those of you who follow me on social media know that I did a lot of laughing. It was crazy. I was laughing the majority of the time when I was doing posts about Melvin and this amazing story that he has, from digging ditches to buying the company that he dug the ditches for, and then expanding out into where he is in today, owning horses. That shocked me. I didn't know he owned horses or race horses. I knew that he had real estate. I knew that he was in car wash. I knew he was in multiple things. One thing, the common theme that kept coming back over and over again was just this attitude of gratitude and the servant mindset. The ability to always want better for those that he is serving. It's an underappreciated and not readily paraded around when you have owner of a company who strives to just want the best for each and every one of his employees. This part of the clip I didn't play last week, but I want to play this now because I want you guys to listen to how he addresses and how he views the people that he has the privilege of overseeing. Listen to this.
I think that the biggest thing in our company and the culture that we run is the respect. In this company, no one has ever been yelled at. You don't yell at another human being. You don't insult another human being in this company. You don't tell them, what are you doing? You're dumb, you're idiot. What the hell? I mean, we're in construction. There's a lot of bleeping that goes on. Not in this company. You don't ever tell somebody what the hell you're doing. Why you don't insult a person. Not one. If you don't like the person and how they're working, pull them to the side, be like, thank you for your service, you're no longer needed. That's all you need to say. That's it. You don't insult the guy because the guy has a wife, children, mother, brothers. You don't insult somebody who is a breadwinner for their home. They don't get up every morning to go get insulted at work. They don't come to work because they want to come and get insulted. They come to work because they have a need to provide for their families. And if you respect that need and you respect the human being, they're going to wake up every morning and be like, well, you know what? I don't make much money, but I have a good time doing it. You know what I mean? I'm not where I want to be, but shit, this is fun. I go to a place where I'm respected. They treat me well. I have a great work environment, and that's all I can ask for. A track for people to run on, and that's important for us as a culture. And I don't ever yell at my employees. Never did I. It's never crossed my mind. Now has guys write for trucks, flipped over equipment. I mean, ran over walls. Yeah. All right. Well, who was it? This person. We'll talk to this person. What happened? This so-and-so, this happened. All right. What'd you learn from it? Yeah. All right. Don't let it happen again. Oh, I can kick a storm. I can cuss and slam doors. But you know what? What is that? What does that really create? More negativity. It doesn't solve the problem. It doesn't create any type of good feel that your employees thinks you're a good boss. Well, I'll cut them some slack every once in a while, or mess with them every once in a while. Hey, remember that wall you knocked down the other day? But in a fun gesture, you're like, listen, man, things happen, and that's important to us. The respect level within the community of this company.
Man, unbelievable. First, he talked about mentorship, right? He talks about his entire company is built on mentorship, taking raw materials, knowing what the elements are inside of this material and in enhancing it and making it better, making them better. But did you catch that? When you're in the presence of a mentor, you're asking to be mentored, you better pay attention, you better listen. Why? Because they're extrapolating their time and putting the knowledge that they have into you. The bigger one, oh, this was so good. This was so good. The bigger point to what he was making was in his company, nobody gets yelled at. You don't yell. You don't swear at it. You don't put somebody down. You don't do any of that. Why? First off, because if they have what? Wife, kid, they're trying to provide. Second, they're human beings. They are literally trying to make a living for themselves, for their family, to be better than themselves. Everybody comes from different walks of life, different journeys, different backgrounds, different histories, the whole aspect of it. In a world that is filled with vulgarity and put downs and big time egos, if you will, right? And working long, hard hours, especially in Arizona. I mean, that's no joke. Those are some hot times in Arizona. And when you set the precedent that nobody in this company is allowed to cuss out another individual, degrade them, downtrod them, put them underneath their feet, make them feel lower or less than, make them feel not as they are as important as the person who's running the job to the person who's actually slinging the rocks. When the mindset is, we are going to elevate everybody that we have that works with us. We are going to elevate people to be better than what they think they are. Oftentimes we all think this way, big time. Well, here's a little sample to you. For the longest time, as long as I can remember, going back years, I'm looking up, trying to process. I always had this complex of tall white males that are rich, that are wealthy. On the outside, that I looked at that they were wealthy. I always had this complex of them, and majority of the time is when I first got into business and I started getting into the business world. All of my people that oversaw the teams that I was a part of, or the managers, or the upper level managers, or senior managers, they're all very tall. They all were wealthy, which on the outside, that's what I thought. And they just intimidated me. I was afraid to make a mistake in fear that they would lash out or downgrade me. What I realized really quick, though, was the more and more I asked for clarification or asked to be almost mentored without being mentored in the sense, right? I learned that all I really wanted was an opportunity to really unleash and unpack what I had to offer. And because I've had some really, really great mentors throughout the last over a decade, it's given me that confidence, but more importantly, built this foundational piece that the more you can respect people, the more that I can elevate and uplift people around me, the better things will be. And we apply that all in our lives. So circling back, oftentimes I would, go and talk to these managers and go and talk to these people, and they would just chuckle and laugh, and they would just kind of smirk or kind of give you that side eye, or they just didn't feel like they gave two licks what I wanted. Now, that was just me. I'm not saying that that's everybody. That was just me. That's just how I process things. But when I really went down to the core was I just needed to believe in myself and have better self-awareness, which is the biggest thing. And I love that Melvin is established that in his company that says you will all be treated equal in the sense of you're all going to be treated fair. You're all going to be treated as human beings, but you're all going to be given the opportunity to grow and have that growth mindset. Later on in the conversation, or later on in that interview, he talks about how one of his guys came to him and said, "Hey, I was offered another position, getting paid more, but I turned it down because I love the freedom that I have and the time I can spend with my children." And I think that is so big, so big. So, I mean, you think about it, if you're in a job, or if you're in a situation to where you feel less than or you feel less important, well, I think the one best thing you can do is take an inner look and say, what can I do to improve myself, improve my skill set? Maybe put down the social media for 30 minutes to an hour and read a book or watch a YouTube video on how to become better in the field that you're in. I think that is just absolutely groundbreaking and amazing. And you want to know how he's a multi-millionaire? Follow those key concepts, man. They're just, this interview was just amazing. Speaking of that, sorry, I keep rubbing my chin up against the microphone. This part, it was so good. Listen to this. Listen to the value that he gives, but more important, how he sets the right expectation. Get started. I need to give a shout out to my biggest sponsor, Warrior Energy Drink. The reason why we partnered together is because we have the same mindset, with the same drive. We're for the people. We're about the people. Look, Warrior Energy Drink has 0 sugar options, and they got water as well. Low calories, great taste, very affordable, no crash, big energy fast, high in B vitamins, awesome design, culture design, 160 milligrams of caffeine. Other energy drinks have way too much, and they're always giving it back to their community. They're paying it forward. Partner with them, guys. Click the link below. Go get yourself your own Warrior Energy Drink and go crush today.
It was important for me to give people what I have, the vision. And in the construction industry, you're asked to do a job, and it's very black and white. You don't get inspired very much in the construction industry. There's not very much personal growth. There's not very much dream factors. So when I said I want to start doing these meetings to give people what I have, is a vision, is a reason why, a motivation, inspiration. And we started having these meetings, and we wouldn't talk about logistics. We would talk about a lot of, how are you doing? Me and Travis sit back and we'll ask them, how are you doing? How was your day? What are you doing this weekend? Where do you want to do? What do you want to be? How can we help you get what you want in life? And we'll go around and ask everybody, hey, what can we do to help you? What can we do to help you? Right now, I don't run the business. Travis doesn't run the business. Richard and the superintendent, they run the business. We're here to help them get what they want in life. That's our goal now. Our goal is to help them. What do you want? What can we do to help you today? How can we make your job easier? How can we make your day-to-day operations better for you? And if it's something I can do right now, I'll do it right now. If it's something I need to work on and give me some time, I'll start working on it. But then going from there, you start digging even more. Okay, so I helped you out with today's operation. What are you doing for Christmas? What are you doing for Thanksgiving? Well, I don't know, don't have much plans. Well, how can I help you? What can I do to help you facilitate some plans? And you've been working hard, what can I do to help you? Well, I would like to take a trip. Done. Take a trip. Where do you want to go? I'll book it right now. And giving these people the reward of not money, not a trip, but the reward of knowing that they have someone that has their back, no matter what the situation is. That's huge in our meetings. Understanding what do you need? What can we do to help you out? And then helping them facilitate their vision and inspiration into reality. That's the trick. It's easy to say, what do you need? Let me help you, and not do anything about it. It's making it and turning into reality for them in their life. It's huge.
Just stop it. Stop it. When you care more about the needs of others than the needs of a business, it's huge. Now, listen, I know there's a lot of people who are going to listen to this, but listen, I'm a W-2 employee. I work for somebody. I don't really call the shots. I don't work at all. I'm just starting out my work career. 100%. I understand all of that. 100%. I get it. What the application is how can we apply this into what we do on a day-to-day basis? When we ask people really how their day is going, or when it just feels like it's a mundane thing, or it's a box that we're checking off on, just checking in, seeing how you're doing, how's life. There's no value behind that. There's no real sincereness to, man, I really just want to know how you're doing, what's going on. Now, listen, not everybody is going to do this every day. I sure as heck don't. I'll be the first one to raise my hand up and say, it doesn't always happen that way. I'm not always intentional with how I'm interacting with people outside of my house, inside of my house. There's just, sometimes it's just not intentional. Sometimes it's just, I just got to make sure I'm checking in, and that happens. It completely happens. It happens more times than we probably want. It happens more times than even at work. You're probably like, man, this sucks. But if you're in charge over people, and everybody who's listening to this is in charge of somebody, whether you're physically in charge of multiple people, whether you're a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad that's in charge of kids, or you have no kids and it's just yourself, you are in charge of you. You are in charge of you. What I love about what he says, the checking in, is you now can start to check in with yourself. When's the last time you had a self-check-in? Sit down and look in the mirror and go, hey, how you doing? Honestly, like, how are you doing? A lot of people listen to this like, that's just stupid. Why would I do that? Self-check-in and self-evaluation is huge. Huge. Think about why we go to the doctor to get a self-checkup. We're checking our physical. Why are we not checking our mental and our emotional and spiritual? Why are we not checking that state of being? Why are we not checking what's going on upstairs in our brains? How do we know how to pivot? How do we know what is when we feel like it's just vanilla? Nobody wants a vanilla life. Nobody does. Check in. Here's a tool and here's a tip and a trick that I've used through my years, over my life, on how do I do self-evaluation and self-check-in. One is that I obviously big on just being present in the moment and being, where am I? Like, where am I honestly? Like, where am I emotionally? Where am I mentally? Where am I out in moving forward and progressing forward? Write down 3 things. This is what, you write down 3 things. We call it the attitude of gratitude. What am I grateful for? Now, those of you who have watched and listened, you'll know that I'm a big fan of the Focus Journal by the Greatest Day Mindset, Craig Smith. And the reason is because it's, what are your accomplishments? 3 accomplishments. What are you grateful for? What are your 3 power statements? And he gives you power statements in the back, over 150 power statements. And then he gives you a quote. What does this mean to you? And that is the basis. And you can use that as a foundational piece. I simply will just sit and ask myself, well, out loud, but which I should. I used to ask myself out loud, but I would say, how am I doing honestly? You almost have this out of body experience where you're asking yourself and you're answering the questions, where you sit down and you evaluate where you are. Like, where am I honestly? Where am I mentally? Where am I emotionally? How am I doing? What am I doing to better my life? Now, we can sit and bang our heads, and put our own selves down. That's easy. We can self-explode faster than anybody else. We're the quickest to whip ourselves. So write down 1 or 2 things when you ask yourself, how am I genuinely doing? And if you put, I'm good, go 3 levels deep. Try to go 3 levels deep. What does good actually mean? I'm doing good. What do you mean you're doing good? Well, I've been able to get up at the time that I've wanted to at least 3 times this week. How does that make me feel that I was able to accomplish a small and simple task? It's hard, man. It's super hard when you get into that zone, when you get into that process. But as you have listened to Melvin, if you listen to other people that I have on the podcast, the overarching theme is what? Consistency. Being consistent at doing the best that you can do. Now, if you need to have a self-evaluation, are you really giving your all 100%? And we can talk about 100% a little bit later, but giving your best effort, you're putting your best foot forward. And you know what? If your best foot forward sometimes is simply opening your eyes up, then that's completely good. You're there. And if your best foot forward is like, man, I am going to do the thing that I have written down on my goal sheet or my vision board, that's what I'm going to do, then that's where you go. And that's how you crush it. I love this. Never be afraid to reach out to a mentor. Never. But like we heard already, when you talk with a mentor, you need to really be present and listen to what they're saying, because they are spending their time imparting wisdom that they have. Whether you pay for the mentor or you don't pay for the mentor, that's up to you and the mentor. But I love this part of the conversation that we just listened to, self-check-in and self-evaluation. Oh, man. Dang, that was so good. Oh, you think that part was good? Listen to this one. Hey, everybody. I want to take this quick second here. A lot of you have asked me, what journal do I use? My family use? Simple. This journal right here. See, my buddy Craig Smith has spent years and years developing a journal that takes everything that's up in here and puts it on paper so we can be edified and grow. So if you don't know what to write about, which oftentimes happens, he gives you ideas. And if you want power statements, things that say, I am this, he gives you those ideas. Now, when you look at on one page, it says, this is what I'm accomplished. This is what I am statements. And there's a quote every single day that you get to write on and focus on. The second page is write your daily thoughts, get it out of your head, put it on paper to be the best version of yourself. The link's down below. Listen, I get no money for this. It's just, I believe in this journal. I love this journal. It's changed my life, my family's life. And if you want, it'll change your life as well.
Yeah. When Joe, very emotional. I just got the chills again. It gets deep because I remember just bawling my eyes out. I mean, I was bawling my eyes out to Joe, and I'm like, dude, I can't do this anymore. I don't have money. I'm not where I want to be in life. There's so many obstacles in my way. I feel like I can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And he gave me permission. He says, yes, you can. You have everything in you to continue to pursue. And then he continues to share his story with me, how he went through obstacles and how he didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel, and how, everybody said no to him. And he was a person that nobody looked at to be the person who he became. And he gave me that authority to myself to pursue what I wanted in life. Because sometimes in life, we don't believe we can do things. That's great, but that's not for me. That's great for so-and-so because, they're great, they're intellectual, they're smart, they're beautiful, they're rich. That's good for them, but someone like me can't do that. That's too far for me to do. I just can't do that because, and then we start playing this violin and this pity party that we can't do things because we got these obstacles in front of us. I'm a single parent, or I'm divorced, or I just lost a business, or I just lost my family member. I can't pursue what I think is happiness because there's so many obstacles in my way. But in reality, that's what's going to take you to that next level. Those are the reasons why we continue, and that's what Joe gave me. He gave me that authority to pursue the dreams I wanted, the things I wanted in life, because I had these obstacles. And there were all the stepping stones I needed. He said, Melvin, what makes your story so great is the stuff that you go through as you get there. Nobody wants to hear about how quick you got there and how easy it was. People want to hear about, the real struggles you had in life when you couldn't make, a mortgage payment, when you lost your house, when you lost your car, when you, didn't have anything, and how you came back from that. Everybody loves watching Rudy the movie or a comeback movie, right? Because why do people connect so well to a movie or a story that it's a comeback story? Because everyone can relate to it. Because everyone has a comeback story. And to me, Joe gave me that opportunity to have a comeback story. I didn't think I could have a comeback story, but I did. Except the book was written. I just wasn't reading the end of the book yet. Somebody else had read the end of the book yet. I just hadn't. I was stuck in the middle of the book, and I was, figuring out, how to get through this. But someone else saw the ending and said, you know what? You're going to be very happy. You're going to be well off. You're going to be great. Go do it. Continue to do it. Let's go. And that's what Joe gave me. Gave me that authority to myself and gave me permission to continue.
Those of you that are watching this on YouTube, I've got my hands kind of over my head and my eyes are super big because of what we just listened to. Permission. Shout out to Joe Courtney again. I remember meeting Joe at a meeting, network marketing meeting. I remember meeting Joe one time, one of the coolest guys, man. I remember like, you played with MJ? Like, that's awesome. Just to shake his hand was way, way, way cool. So shout out to Joe Courtney. But finding a diamond in a rough, not to be cliche, because obviously he was in construction at the time. However, I remember when listening to Melvin get up there and talk about how this man next to him, this man has changed his life and opened him up to possibilities that he never ever could think or dream of. He was just a simple kid just trying to provide for his wife that he's known forever. High school sweethearts, come on. They've been together for so long, and yet he's in there just like, I'm just going to dig ditches, man, because, that's what I can do. Just grind it out, put forth my best effort always, and good things will happen. Maybe. Good things are coming. I'm hoping. Man, I'd really like to have a working vehicle. I'm going to need on and pray. Or, how am I going to get food on my table? I don't know. But I'm just going to keep digging ditches, man. I'm going to keep digging ditches. And what Joe unleashed in Melvin was the ability, or nay, the authority to be able to expand his thought process besides just the shovel in his hand, and said, you, my friend Melvin, you have permission to dream bigger. Even though nobody in your family or your history and your lineage or those that you associate with ever dreamt as big as you have the ability to, you now have permission. I give you permission. I'm imparting permission inside of you so you can go be the best version of yourself. Oh, you hear me talk about this all the time, the best version of myself. It's because when you get into the state of being, when you get into the oh man, how do I even put it? When you get into the process of always just saying, I'm going to be present with myself, I'm going to work on myself, and I'm going to breathe deep life into myself. When you get into that state of being, then you start working on yourself. You start feeling what others see in you. And that's what happens a lot of times, is it takes someone to extrapolate those inner negative beliefs and start imparting vision, and start imparting value, start imparting the process to become the person that they see in you, that you therefore can become. And I remember going to multiple meetings with Melvin and being able to listen to him as his growth increased and it increased and increased, and just taking nuggets away as I was on my own growth journey, as I was on my own mindset change. Melvin then, he may not know this. Let me share this story. I forget what city we were in. Man, Charlotte, I think it was. I don't remember. I'm going to kick myself. But I think it was Charlotte. Anyways, he was in with a group of us and he was talking. I remember him sitting on the bed. We were in a hotel room. He was sitting on the bed and he was just talking. And he said something that impacted me, and still to this day. He said to the tune of, when you care about how you are doing emotionally, and when you care about your own growth, you then will forget and not care about what others think about you. And he went on to expand it about, it's about your own ability to grow past your own fears. It's your own ability to go and reach out to somebody and say, hey, I need help. I need you to help me. Not will you, but when can we talk? And it's because Melvin knew the journey he went through to get to where he is and what we're able to see. And I remember him saying that. He was just sitting there so cool. And I was like, dang, this is a guy that has spoken to with Joe Courtney, who is his mentor. And now he's just on this trajectory of life that I would love to be on with him. And since then, I've learned so much in the nuggets that I've got. So never, ever, ever feel like you're not worthy, or you don't have the ability, or you're just not as gifted as somebody else. Everybody has a gift. Everybody has a purpose. Everybody has a divine calling in life. Man, this part I told you, this episode and recording was just so good. Dang, Melvin. I think I want to have him on. I told him he should write a book. That's what he needs to do. After this, everybody listen, we all need to DM Melvin. DM Melvin and say, you need to write a book. Everybody, and then tag me in the DM. Say, tag me, and then say, Cameron said you need to write a book. 2025, we want that book to come out. DM me, Melvin's book, 2025. Tag Melvin into it. DM Melvin. Tag him, tag 2025 book, and then tag me as well. Let's see if we can't get his inbox to blow up. That'd be awesome. Oh, man. Oh, gosh, it was so good. It was so amazing to interview him. All right, we're going to finish on this note, because this note is just like all the gems that we've heard thus far. Listen to this note. Just listen to what he says. Give me two principles. Give us two principles that you can share with us on the discipline that was instilled to you by Joe and your other mentor that you still use today.
Well, my other mentor is my business partner. I got a business partner. I got a construction company, Travis Hillis. I mean, he has been such a mentor to me. And not only a mentor, business partner, now a very good friend. I said my best friend, one of my best friends. And he's just has been an inspiration to me, and he doesn't realize it. And he doesn't know it. And that's what I love about him, that he's always teaching me and showing me things, and he's not trying to. And that's the secret there. It's picking up the little things people leave behind and being able to learn from them. And to be able to learn from someone, you need to be able to have a level of humbleness. It is so huge. It is so important to be able to be humbled and let your pride down, to be able to learn from someone, that is willing to teach you. But sometimes we don't want to learn from someone because we're so prideful. Pick up the little things in life from the people around you, from anybody, from mom, dad, brother, neighbor, co-worker, and then create a recipe for yourself. You're going to get a little bit of here, a little bit of that. Create a recipe yourself, and then be humble enough to apply them in your life. I mean, it's easy to get the advice of a established person. You know what I'm saying? Someone who's done it, super successful. They've done it. I'll take his advice. But mom or dad or brother or sister, you ain't done nothing in life. I can't learn anything from you. I disagree. Even if it's the things not to do, you learn from them. You know what I mean? It's not always what to do, it's what not to do. You can learn from, you know what I'm saying? So I think those are two keys that really helped me develop, is being able to be humbled and be able to be a sponge to everyone around me and learn something from everyone and every experience, and everybody I shake hands with, I learn something from everybody. So it's huge.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing. No, I keep laughing all the time. It's just the nuggets, the absolute. Listen, those of you who own a business, I really would love to hear your insight on what Melvin is saying. Those of you know someone who does own a business that may not know about the podcast, forward this to them. DM them and say, you need to listen to this. And I would love to hear their insight. And those of you that are thinking about starting a business or never have no intention, I still would love to hear what you would think. The fact that Melvin is still a sponge after all of the accolades and after all the success that he's had and after the multiple companies that he's continued to build and has built and will continue to build, the fact that the man literally says, I'm a sponge and I learn from everyone, that to me is, that is so mind-blowing. Not mind-blowing for him, but misconceptions oftentimes can be, what could if I have a conversation with a guy like Melvin, what can I impart on him? What can he learn from me? And he laid it out. He said he's a sponge. He always is learning. He's always growing. He doesn't stop. He's humble. He's a humble man that walks with everybody. regardless. Now, look, if you've been on his Instagram and you've been on his other social media platforms, you're like, well, yeah, but I mean, he drives a red Ferrari. He's always on vacation. Well, yeah, because he's earned the right. He's earned the right to live the life that he wants to live. But he's not done it on the heart or the backs of other people that he's downtrodden. No, he's elevated and lifted his company, his people. He's elevated and lifted them so they can live the same life. Go back to the clip before this. What did he say? How are you doing? What are you doing for Thanksgiving? Come on. Melvin, stop it. He is literally one of those gems that you find that we're all blessed to know. We're all blessed to have listened to and learned from. We're all blessed that he gave us the opportunity to bring him on the show and listen. Be a sponge. Never stop learning. Always learn from people, from the most humble person to the most wealthy, if you can find it. What I've learned over the short time that I have had this podcast going is when I reach out to people and ask them, will you be on? And we have a conversation before the actual interview. The stories and how they all relate and how they all say yes. Sure. Now, sure, look, I've had plenty of people tell me no, and plenty of people blow me off, and plenty of people say, no, this is stupid. You're just another podcaster. Or they look at, well, you're not in the top 1% globally. I'm not gonna listen to you. You just wait. 2023 is going to put us even further on the map because of those of you that listen and are inspired, just as I'm inspired, as you reach down and are picking up pennies because those nuggets are being left behind. That's what we get. Always be a sponge. Always learn. Always push yourself to be a better version tomorrow than you were today. It's humbling. This interview really stacks up next to all the other ones that we've done thus far, and we'll continue to bring the heat. We'll continue to bring the passion. We'll continue to bring the fire, because what inspires me is the feedback that I get. So my plea for you guys as I wrap up this part is if you have a specific person that you would love to have me talk to, please DM me. Please send me their information. If you want to learn, or if you want something in addition to this, reach out to me, DM me. Let me know. In addition, in the sense of what book. Ooh, side note, I am making a place that you can go with all the books that have been the people that have on that where it said, hey, you should read these books. I have a place. I'll put a place on my Arch Study View Beacon link that will have the book section. You can go through and order the books through that part. You'll be able to do that, which will be really, really cool. I think we're almost at 80 books, pretty close to 80 books. But by all means, let me know. Let me know your feedback. Let me know your ideas, your thoughts, your comments, good, bad, or indifferent. I don't care. But I would ask that you guys, share this and like this, write a comment about it, please. That would mean the world to me, because if I inspire one person from every podcast, I'm doing what I have set my mission out to, which is to change this world by uncovering what it takes for people who in our eyes we think are successful. How did they get to where they are today? Oh, it's so good, guys. This has truly been a phenomenal episode of the Arch Study View. Again, like, comment, share, leave a comment, leave a review. Share this with people that need to just be uplifted, as we all are uplifted. Until next time, make it a great day. Make it the best day ever. And I'll see you on the next episode.